Welcome. Uh, the Q&A episode of Three Count Commentaries. Boy, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to all of you who do not celebrate Christmas. It does not matter whether you celebrate Christmas or not. Your boy is here. Mongo Slade is present. It does not matter. I toyed around with the idea of actually canceling the show. I'm not gonna lie to you. I felt like absolute human garbage the day before. Uh, I felt horrible. I had like a category 10 earthquake headache yesterday. It felt awful. I came in the house, went to sleep. Actually, the show was canceled as of 8 o'clock yesterday. Then today I woke up feeling a little bit better, and I was like, oh, you know what? Come hail, sleet, or snow, Mongo Slade says he's going to do something, so god damn it, he's going to do it. So, outside of some light coughing that will probably occur on the stream, I will be going through the Q&A. So, yeah, we're going through with this. I'm not dead, so we're going through with it. You know what? Let's wrap it up. Again, Merry Christmas to everybody who's going to be strolling in a little bit later. Let's get right into it because I would like to get done in like 2 hours or so. I need to get some more sleep because I got to start building stuff tomorrow. I got a bed, a box spring, not a box spring, the thing you put your bed on. Shit, I'm not going to put too much thought into it. Yeah, I got to build one of those tomorrow. I got to build a bookshelf tomorrow. So I got stuff to build, and I'm not feeling that great, so I need some rest. So let's get right into the Q&A. So if you left your question in the community tab, now it's time to go through and get these questions answered. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. Darren Miles has 16 questions. My God. Oh, my God. All right. So let's try to go through these. I'm gonna try to lighten around some of these things. There's a lot of questions. Darren Mile, question 1: who ruined their legacy more, Ric Flair or Hulk Hogan? Well, Hulk Hogan, because Hulk Hogan is now considered a racist, and he gets booed in front of live crowds now. Ric Flair hasn't gotten to that part yet. Flair is not doing himself any credit, any benefit at all, but he's not being booed in front of live audiences. Hulk Hogan can't do anything without getting booed. 2, how would you make people care about the brand split again? By making the brand split permanent, and that there's no crossover between the two. Treating them like separate islands, so that it seems more surprising when everybody gets involved. 3, how come women go for dysfunctional men and then cry when things go south? To my understanding, let's put it like that. Women like to try to fix men. Usually there's nothing wrong with the guy. He's just not the guy that she wants, but she wants to try to make him into the guy that she wants. So when that fails, inevitably, instead of just getting the guy that she wants to try to turn the guy that she got into the guy that she wants. It's the Beauty and the Beast scenario. She wants to tame the guy. Doesn't always go the right way though. 4th question: do you think AEW is made up with people who won't let the Attitude Era go? Well, Tony Khan is an ECW mark, and we know that's where a lot of his ideas come from. I would gather that he's not quite the Attitude Era type, but more the ECW type, which is around the same time. So it is what it is on that. But it's kind of yes, kind of no. I think a lot of their fans are people who are, let's be more like the Attitude Era, because that's really what they want. With the excessive cursing and the middle fingers and the blood, and yeah, I guess you could say that. 4. Well, he had 2 number 4s. Number question 5. How do you deal with a feminist teacher? Okay, I had quite a few feminist teachers, and they didn't grade me very well. But there's 2 options. Option one is to basically just parrot everything that they say so that you can get out of the class without learning anything. The second thing that to do is when you are, if you want to challenge them, you want to push back in ways that won't affect your grades. Sometimes you have to remember arguing or fighting with people is not always the best way to deal with them. Sometimes you have to use the Bruce Lee principle, and that is be water. You can go in there and learn all the feminist talking points and everything, and then just completely and totally ignore it. And that's what I did in college. I read all the feminist books that they wanted me to read. None of that shit stuck. I just was like, whatever. You get out of it. 5. Well, I guess this would be 6. What is an environmentalist feminist? I have no idea. I would guess it's some kind of mother nature equals nature is feminine and all that kind of jazz. I would imagine that's the direction we're going in, but I don't know what that is. 6. If you own a wrestling promotion, what would be the name of it? I toyed around with the concept of Motor City Championship Wrestling. So it'd be like MCCW. I like that. What's your opinion on WWE 2010s? The entire 2010s? So from like 2010 to 2020? Or 2019? Well, there's some good years in there. 2016 was pretty good. 2017 was not bad. The early 2010s, not very good. So I don't know. It's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag, I would say. Number 8. What was worse, John Cena and Randy Orton beating the entire roster in an episode of Raw, or Stone Cold Steve Austin beating the entire roster between 98 and 99? Well, I would say Cena and Orton, because Austin didn't beat everybody in one match. He made everybody look like a goof in the Royal Rumble one year, but that was about it. Orton and Cena pinning everybody on the roster just seemed really goofy. And I understand why they did it, but was it really necessary for them to do it? No. So I'm going to go with Randy Orton and John Cena, because they beat them all in one match. It was stupid. Number 9. How can wrestling promoters bring back the serious and dangerous feel pro wrestling used to have? By treating things that supposed to be dangerous as serious. Power drivers used to be dangerous. Now they're playthings for children. Nobody ever wins with like a straight up power driver anymore. You can hit a guy with a spinning tornado power driver like Zangief from Street Fighter. They'll still kick out at 2. So implementing, actually, if you do this move, it should be a finish and can't do it any other time, will create a lot more seriousness in the business. Having big things like getting power drives on the floor, be an instant count out or disqualification, and then you're playing it up, talking stretchers, the whole 9 yards. If you set up the company that these things matter, people will tend to buy into them and will believe them, even though they know it's a work, like they know all wrestling is a work. All right, 10. Do you think that there will be another promotion as big as WWE and AEW? Well, no. I think AEW is completely artificial, by the way. I think we're learning over time how much Warner Brothers has invested in AEW. And it's getting to the point where you can almost see that AEW is I'm starting to believe it's a Turner property. That's my conspiracy theory. I have no proof. Let me say again, I have no proof. But I'm believing that AEW is a Turner property. And there's things about it that just screams this is partially owned by Warner Brothers. So until somebody else goes further than that, I believe it. All right. 11. Where do the term nice guys finish last come from? And do nice guys finish last? Well, the idea, it comes from, I would believe that it was a thing men created to sort of justify being a bit of a douchebag. But there is a kernel of truth to it, because in things like business and relationships. If you're too nice, people will walk over you. If you're too nice, people will take advantage of you. If you are too nice, you will honestly miss out on some really good opportunities. Sometimes opportunities are created by you saying no. Sometimes opportunities are created by you saying yes. So, nice guys finish last is it's a truism. They should just say nice people because it happens to girls too. 12. What is the best wrestling intro you've seen? Personally, I like the SmackDown 2002 Beautiful People intro. Um, I don't know. Maybe the 90s WWF Thorn in Your Eye. I like that. I really like that a lot. Number 13. How come wrestlers with long hair is always wet when coming to the ring? Coming to the ring. I guess you mean to the ring. I think I knew the answer to this question. Why they wet their hair, but I think it's mostly so that it won't get wet while they're in the ring. So it sounded like a dramatic effect to have the wet hair, but I don't know. It's a good question. Maybe I ought to look that up. How come Triple H promos always have a long Because I think he's thinking as he's talking. So it kind of seems like he has that what do you say? I can't stand that fucking guy. That's why I stopped watching that shit. Number 15. Do you think WWE needs a women's mid card title? No, they don't have. They don't do anything with the women they have. What do they need a women's intercontinental champion or anything like that for? Now, if the women had their own show, then sure, they would need a women's mid card belt. But they don't have their own show, so what do we need them for? 16. Please do an impersonation of Triple H firing Mandy Rose. Okay. Let's see if we can do Triple H firing Mandy Rose. Let's see. I guess he would have to call her into the office first, right? She would have to show up, I'm guessing, Monday Night Raw. Or maybe SmackDown, because it was after. Do Triple H pop up at NXT? Let's assume he pops up at the Performance Center. And she... Hey, honey. Mandy. We would like to have a conversation with you. It's about some photographs that Matt Bloom found on the internet. Mandy, I gotta say you're a tremendous talent. It's been a pleasure working with you, but gonna have to let you go. Sean, Trip, I don't know much about that. The computers and stuff. I'm pretty sure Sean didn't find those pictures on his own. He's a godly man, of course. He didn't find those pictures all on his own. Matt Bloom showed him those pictures according to the internet. I don't know. Was that the right thing to do? Who knows? I think that he's probably gonna find out anyway. Like, what the fuck can he? How can he not find out? She was playing with her pussy online. Like, come on. Mandy is always Nancy Gribble. I'm telling you that now. Dion McSee. 1. Name 5 wrestlers from AEW and 5 from WWE that should be fired. Alright, so 5 wrestlers from AEW that should be fired. Ethan Page. Sanjay Dutt. Ethan Page, Sanjay. You can fire both of them twice as far as I'm concerned. Let's see. I mean, they have so many people on the roster. It's an absurd amount of people to fire. It'll probably be to their benefit to fire Private Party, but I'm not going to say Private Party. I know for sure I would get rid of Ethan Page and Sanjay Dutt. I mean, that's just without a shadow of a doubt. I'd fire those assholes immediately. QT Marshall, I would fire him. I know he's important for their backstage stuff, but I will always fuck QT Marshall. He can go. Nakazawa and Brandon Cutler. So Ethan Page, Cutler, Sanjay Dutt. I forgot about the big Indian idiot. I would probably fire him too, but he wouldn't be on my list immediately. Now, 5 WWE wrestlers that should be fired. Shit. That's a good question. Natalya. 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 Natty Neidhart and Natalya Neidhart. I would. No, I'm not going to say that because that wouldn't be fair. Natalya is certainly on the list. I would fire Natalya. I mean, I don't see any purpose for her anymore. Tamina is another one. I would fire Tamina. Do you even have a purpose for Akira Tozawa? I would fire Akira Tozawa. There's really no purpose to him. Why is he there? Why does he even exist? Dante Chen, just because, fuck him, I guess. And that Chinese guy, because I know he ain't been fired yet, Boa. I would fire Boa. He's useless. So the two useless NXT guys, Dante Chen and Boa, they both been around for a little while, so it's not like I'm picking on them. Boa's been around for a long time. And Natty, because I think she's run her course. Tamina has also run the course. And I think you could probably get more out of Natalya if she was to leave WWE and take her knowledge elsewhere. And I forgot who I said the fifth one was. Alto Johnson. Which death in 2022 from entertainment and reality caught you by surprise? Let's see. I'm rarely surprised by entertainers dying. Mainly because they do things that lead to them dying. You know, they do drugs and shit. Stephen Bonner was pretty surprising, even though I kind of knew it was going to happen. I mean, the guy was strung out for several years now. It was inevitable when it comes to Stephen Bonner. There hasn't been a surprising death since Kobe Bryant because, you know, it was completely out of nowhere that Kobe Bryant died. Most people who die these days, you can see it coming. Either they got cancer or something like that. But somebody like in an airplane crash, like that shit would be surprising to me. Top Dog, what do you think was peak John Cena? I say 2003 to 2008 was peak John Cena. I say peak John Cena. Well, it depends on what you mean. Because his in-ring peak was probably when he was U.S. champion. That was 2016 or so. Character peak was probably 2006 to 2008. That's when, you know, the C Nation was running wild and he was champion almost the entire year, 1 year. I think he had to get injured in order to drop the belt in 08 or something like that. His second question, Batista or Brock Lesnar, who did you like better? Oh, because I skipped a lot of Brock Lesnar's tenure in WWE at first, I was way more of a Batista fan. I knew Brock Lesnar existed. I had seen some of his stuff. I hadn't seen his match against Undertaker or anything like that, which actually, those matches won me over with Brock. But I didn't see those until after I had seen Batista and Triple H Hell in a Cell, which to me was like perfect. I was like, this is tremendous. This is what I like. So Batista was my guy. And then he went to SmackDown. He started having bullshit matches with Bradshaw. And I was like, oh no. Oh no. Number 3, what is your favorite wrestling era of all time? What they call the golden era, which is the Hogan years. 4, why wasn't you never a fan of The Rock? It's hard to explain because I see why people like The Rock, and I generally speaking like The Rock, but I just feel like The Rock is like this super overhyped performer. You know, it's just a lot of hype to The Rock, and I'm not really a big fan of hype, you know, but he is legitimately very good. You know, he's legitimately very good. 5. Favorite version of Batista. I like the Animal years. You know, when he was being cagey against Triple H. You know, he's wearing the suit every week. That was great stuff. I don't know why he stopped doing it when he went to SmackDown, but he had the great vision of Batista when he's on SmackDown, when he's on Raw rather, against Triple H, and he told Triple H he wasn't good enough to face him again. And Triple H blew a gasket. That was good stuff. You know, that was really good stuff. And Triple H put a lot of effort in to get Batista over, and then SmackDown went and fucked it up. Because that's what they do. 6. Bigger Cena match. Cena versus Hogan or Cena versus Austin? Well, because Hogan has damaged his career so much, I don't think anybody would care to see Cena versus Hogan. So honestly, the honest answer would be Cena versus Austin. All right, we got questions on the screen. Let's see. Juan Orozco, do you believe Snoop Dogg knew about Tupac's death? I saw the documentary. Well, I don't understand what you mean by knew about Tupac's death. Do I think that Snoop Dogg knew it was going to happen? I don't know about that. Did he learn about it pretty fast or something? I don't know. I would imagine it was pretty weird because the guys who killed Tupac were Crips. Snoop Dogg was a Crip. Maybe, you know, there's some different things to talk about there. Leith Elzy, if you could write for any movie or TV show, past or present, what would it be? I would like to have, besides a wrestling show, because I think I would love to help write a wrestling show. I would have loved to helped to write Star Trek, The Next Generation, or Deep Space Nine. I would have liked to have helped to write some episodes of Dragon Ball, some of the filler episodes of Dragon Ball. I think I really could have brought out the characters and those joints. I would have liked to have. There's quite a few movies I wish I could have wrote because those movies probably suck and things needed to change. Because I know Shatas, for instance, garbage. Which authors inspire or influence your writing? Ray Bradbury. Every time I read a Ray Bradbury book, I am overly impressed by his language skills, how he sets things up, and how things remain fun despite being, you know, somewhat intellectual. Michael Moorcock. I love Michael Moorcock. The Eternal Champion books and the Elric series. Those things are very good. Donald Goins too for like the raw street novels. I love all of those guys. Alto Johnson said, "What's your thoughts on Zachary Levine, Shazam? Comments on the difference between DC fans and Zack Snyder fans." Well, I don't know what he said, so I don't know what he said. I don't pay attention to those fucking guys. Let's see. Mongo. This is from Najee Savage. Did you hear about the Quincy Elliott drama? I saw a bit of it. Apparently, Quincy Elliott is a permanently or terminally online shithead who was talking shit about his contemporaries in NXT via burner accounts with Stan Twitter. And this all got outed because he supposedly said something quote-unquote transphobic to one of the people he was talking to through one of his burner accounts. These people took all these screenshots and then there was a space and Shawn Michaels made it into the space. It was a mess. It was ridiculous. Is he going to get fired over that? Probably not. You know, I don't see... Would Shawn fire a guy for being transphobic? I don't know. You certainly can't push him. So what do you do? I don't know. Is it worthy of being fired? That's what I want to know. A lot of Stan Twitter seem to believe it is. That if you're transphobic, you should be fired. I don't know. They're hanging their hats on Sean being a progressive. Um, I don't know about that one, dog. Top dog. Do you think people focus way too much on ratings? Well, yeah. The focus on ratings is never going to end, but it's way overblown. It's just a gauge of how people enjoy the show and what people think of the individual things that you're presenting. But it's also an understanding that other things are on television, and sometimes you produce what you think is good, and somebody does something else that's better or whatever. Ellie Hankerson, what is your take on Richard Donner's 1978 Superman? I always had fun with the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. I think that they're really good, and they stand the test of time for a reason. You know, they definitely stand the test of time for a reason. They actually got to the core of the character. All right, DeAndre Dukes. He has 6 questions. Who's the most underrated superhero in both Marvel and DC? Underrated. Well, I think that sometimes you say somebody is underrated, you say they're underrated so much they become overrated, but I'm going to go with Daredevil because his TV show was very successful. But he has yet to have a successful movie. And he still doesn't move units. Despite the fact that everybody loves various Daredevil runs, Daredevil just cannot move units. Like the Zdarsky Daredevil books right now are not really moving units. No matter how good the book is, it just doesn't move units. Like the Frank Miller books still move units though. Second, who's the most overrated superhero in both Marvel and DC? Well, that's the answer to this is pretty simple. It's Batman. But Batman is incredibly popular, and Batman is the moneymaker for DC, so it is what it is. 3, top 5 favorite comedians. Oh shit, this is not as easy as one would think, because I don't watch a lot of stand up, but I could come up with 5. Martin, Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, Bernie Mac, and I was watching a Red Fox comedy special, but I wasn't really like cracking up at it. It was funny, but it wasn't like laugh out loud, past I can't breathe funny. So I don't know. I don't know who the 5th guy would be, but those 4 are pretty rock solid. Bernie Mac, Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, and Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor is funny as fuck. I mean, he's funny as hell. He's funny in the motherfucker, dog. See, 4, your favorite Christmas moment. Oh, I don't know, man. I think I got a PlayStation one year, and that was probably like I didn't get too many games. I just got a PlayStation. And I got like one game. It's like I grew up poor, and I barely got anything for at any point in time. So we was good for getting decent Christmas presents because we never got shit throughout the year. Meanwhile, we had friends who like constantly always get shit. So for them, Christmas was just like another day. But for us, man, we would get like one thing for Christmas and be super fucking happy. So I don't know. I think it's probably when I got my PlayStation for Christmas. 5, have you seen the movie Wall-E? I think I have seen it, but I don't remember it. And I think I get it mixed up with that movie. I think it's District 9 or something like that. Because I think they're both about robots in a trash heap or something. I'll have to watch them both again. 6, have you heard about this debate on the trilogies which is better between Bad Boys and Rush Hour? I've heard about which one is better, Bad Boys or Rush Hour. I saw it on Twitter. Somebody was asking about it. I didn't know it was like a full-fledged debate. I think it's safe to say Rush Hour. As far as a trilogy, yeah. It took too long for them to come out with Bad Boys 3. So I feel pretty safe with saying that it's Rush Hour. I like Rush Hour. Even though I didn't watch a lot of those movies. I didn't watch a lot of them. But yeah. So I watched the first two Bad Boys. I didn't even see Bad Boys 3. Rush Hour, I love those movies because I was really a big fan of Chris Tucker at the time. And I think he did really good. Jackie Chan was one of my favorite actors always. He is so much fun. Jackie Chan is super fun. D-Mac, what do you make of the chatter around Miro and his situation in AEW? Seems like the type of thing that shows how inconsistent fans can be regarding what wrestlers deserve, or wrestlers being misused, or gets labeled disgruntled. The interesting thing about the Miro situation is that there were tidbits that were thrown out there that only somebody within AEW would know. And that's when Dave Meltzer came out and said that Miro was presented with some creative that he turned down. So then Miro went on Twitter and asked, okay, what happened between January and, and this date? I think it was January and April, I think he said it was. And then Meltzer just said, well, why don't you tell us? As if to say he knows what he's not telling. Or is to say that there's something else that, needs to be hidden. But it's an awkward situation for sure. My thing is, if Miro turned down doing a job, and then all of a sudden Tony Khan is not going to use him anymore, then he should have fired him, should have released him. Just letting the guy sit at home seems to make no sense to me. But, I remember when WWE was doing that, and people were getting very upset about it. And I mean, you're asking people to be consistent here, and they're not interested in that. So I feel bad for Miro though, because if he got called in just to do a job, I see why he would turn it down. Like he's went through all the trouble of getting himself in shape. Lana is now talking about everybody goes back to WWE eventually. I mean, it's becoming a really ugly situation. And now they're kind of dogging all the WWE guys by saying all of them have bad attitudes and don't want to do jobs. It's like, okay, when did that start? Because I never heard that before. So when did that start? Like when did it start? All your WWE guys don't want to do jobs anymore. Maybe it's the shit that you're offering them to do jobs too. But yeah, they're hypocrites. Second question. In case that Twitter link doesn't go through, I'll try to copy and paste it. It says AEW has a perception issue. Had it from day one. It isn't just to be accepted at the WWE level. In the mainstream, it's also to be taken seriously within the pro wrestling bubble. Both continue to be equally hard to overcome. TNA Impact was never able to do it. Wrestlers have only grown up on only WWE. They see that as the only big league in town. So you have these MFers who spend years not even questioning the booking. They're fine going 6 months losing every match on Raw. You can get mad, but you never push back. You're in the big leagues. Then WWE throws you aside like trash. Lucky for you, although how quickly they forget. Here's an alternative. Same pay, some cases even better. Lighter schedule, still on national TV, but these MFers can't pass the fact they aren't associated with the 3 letters WWE anymore. TNA went through this with Christian, Booker T, and big names from precious WWE who were gracing TNA with their presence. They weren't there to give 100%. They weren't invested in growth. They were there to cash a check while keeping an eye on their phones to see if WWE called. I've been an advocate that wrestlers need to always remember that this is a business and protect themselves. If you aren't happy with your direction, you should speak up. This is your livelihood. It doesn't give you the right to outright refuse your boss, but you should have your say. I remember Becky Lynch returning to WWE and destroying Bianca in seconds on some show. Made her look like the biggest afterthought goof. By all accounts, Bianca was cool with this. She's on record as saying she was happy to be part of a WWE moment. Okay then. If tomorrow Bianca decides to show her private parts, and God forbid makes some money WWE isn't entitled to get a share of, she's out on her ass next week. Eventually, maybe AEW brings her in. How do you think it goes if Tony Khan pitches that she come in so Jamie can kill her in 30 seconds? I bet you any amount of money in the world Bianca isn't happily agreeing. And then talking about how thrilled she was to be a part of an AEW moment. This is the thing against AEW is fighting an uphill battle against. Time will help because wrestlers are coming along who don't see WWE as the be all end all. That's a good thing. But you're always going to have these types, especially those who tasted WWE before AEW, who will forever see anything non-WWE as a step down, so the same rules don't apply. Call it a sense of entitlement, whatever you want. You can't just shut the door to the all ex-WWE guys. That would be ridiculous and stupid, but in my opinion, what AEW may want to do is start vetting a little better. Really take a look at the type of people you are bringing in instead of just picking up any WWE cast off in the hopes it works out. Everyone's management style is different, but maybe Tony needs a little Vince in him, in the sense that Vince would bring in these big names from other places and purposely put them in their place, both for his ego, but also as a good test to see if they're here to play ball or not. There is no future for AEW if it revolves around wrestlers who are just using it as a stopgap until Uncle Paul is ready to take the point picture again. I want to see AEW keep growing. Getting over that perception hump will be a key sign things are going the right way. I'm interested in who wrote this, but let's go through this, the hypothetical. Bianca Belair does a quick job to Becky Lynch. Okay, let's say Tony Khan wants her to do something similar in AEW. Is he going to recreate the entire situation? Is he going to have Bianca Belair win the championship in the main event of his biggest show, then have a huge female star, a legitimate female star, one who can actually draw, appear out of nowhere, cheap shot you, and win in 30 seconds? And then that leads to a 5 or 6 month chase where Bianca Belair gets the title back. If that's not the case, then I don't see why just the job itself, because Bianca Belair did the job knowing she was going to get the belt back in the end. I mean, it would be stupid for her to do the job and not think she's getting the belt back. That would be Kofi Kingston's situation. She knew she was getting the belt back. I knew it. Pretty much everybody knew it. The only people who didn't know it were the people who are still complaining about it. So Becky Lynch is a little bit different than Brock. You know, Brock ain't about to do jobs for Kofi Kingston. But having Bianca chase Becky around, that makes sense. That being said, the perception argument, it cannot be overstated that WWE is much bigger than AEW. And that things that happen on WWE is going to last forever. Meanwhile, things that happen in AEW kind of last for a little while until they do something else. And moments don't really matter as much because they don't know how to capitalize on moments anyway. If they do have a good moment, they almost immediately fuck it over with something else. So that perception will never change. The perception that AEW is just as good. No, it's not. It doesn't have the lineage. It doesn't have the history. There's no WrestleMania for AEW. They don't book the women the same. They don't put them in the same situation. Bianca Belair feuded with the two of the top women in WWE within that year. She won the title at WrestleMania both years that she was on the main roster. She did a 30-second job because, I think, what was this? Becky Lynch poked her in the eye or sucker punched her or something like that. And I'm sorry, it's just a completely different scenario. Bryan Danielson, for instance, if you'd have asked him in 2002, would he do a 30-second job for a guy? He'll probably flip out and say no. But once he go to WrestleMania, what was that, 30? No, not even 30 anything. It was like 27 or something. And he did that quick job for Sheamus. I mean, it pretty much spoke to itself that it was a storyline that he was participating in. That's the thing that people continue to divorce and why things can never be the same. You're divorcing Bianca Belair job from the context that the job was taking place in. You're divorcing Bryan Danielson's quick job to Sheamus out of the context of the storyline that was being put forward. The WWE, they teach their wrestlers that the storyline is what matters, not the match itself. Yeah, everybody knew she was getting the belt back. So the question being that, is she just going to lose to Jamie Hayter? It's like, okay, if you lay down the storyline in a way where she can do a quick job to Jamie Hayter in a way that makes sense, then I can see her taking it back. Like, okay, well, we're going to do it this way. She's going to sucker punch me with some brass knuckles, hit her big move, and win. And then I'm going to spend the next couple of months chasing her down to get the belt back. Yeah, that works. But if it's just, hey, come in and do this 30-second job, like, fuck you. I'm not doing that. Nobody's going to do that. So, like, I wouldn't do that. So, what the hell are you talking about? Again, divorcing jobs from context. I know why Vince hates it. No. Alto Johnson has a couple of questions. Have you ever seen any of James Cameron movies other than The Terminator? Yes, I've seen Aliens. I wasn't a big fan of Aliens. I know a lot of people love Aliens. I just shrug. He's the guy who made the Avatar movies too, right? I saw the first Avatar. I wasn't thrilled with it. It was too tedious. It was tedious. My God. It was just too much. It was the phony allegory on colonialism. Like, nah, get the hell out of here. What's your thoughts on Romeo versus Master P? Now, this has been an embarrassment for the entire family. But my thoughts on it is, Master P's been fucking over people for 20 years. He had people calling him out in 2002, 2003 over how he put together record contracts. He wasn't paying his talent. Now Romeo is saying that, hey, I'm 33 years old. I never got a paycheck for any of the stuff that I did. His dad doesn't give up any of the money and all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of people who are going to say, honor thy mother and father. You shouldn't go against your dad. And I think that, generally speaking, that's true. And I think for years Romeo tried not to. But Master P he's got a history of this kind of stuff. He's just got a history of it. And I'm guessing that I believe it. I'm kind of tired of sons calling out their dads on Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that and not being able to say it to him. Like Herschel Walker's son, who went on Twitter to let out this tirade about how terrible a father Herschel Walker was. Like, it seemed to me like you could disagree with your parents. You could say that your dad was off, he wasn't that good. But when you go public and you're attacking him, you're an op at that point. You should never be an op to your parents, unless you have a really good reason. But Romeo is like in his 30s now, and he's like, well, we don't have any money. I'm like, bro, you've been not just, you rapped all these years, but the doors have been open to you via your association with Master P. Why didn't you try doing other things? Didn't Romeo have a TV show or something like that? Like, I don't know. Like Master P was making movies. He was doing a bunch of shit at one point. So it seems to me that, his money done dried up. Now it's daddy's fault. So I can see it from both sides. What's the name of the intro and outro songs on your videos? Well, I use different songs for different videos. I decided because I cannot. Usually I pick the intros and outros at random, unless it has something to do with the topic. But Darren Gordon Hill made a lot of the tracks. I started to use his work a little bit more. But the Eric July joints, I would suggest just listen to his entire mixtape. And you'll find them on there. Because I usually take like a couple of seconds off of an Eric July song and make it the intro and outro. Alto Johnson says, when you stopped reading hip hop magazines, what was your last collection? Well, I was buying Source and Double XL. I was also buying Ozone Mag. I got a couple of Murder Dogs in there somewhere, but I was mostly buying Source and Double XL magazines. I still have plenty of them. I think I stopped buying them. I don't know. Uh, right when I said I'm not listening to rap anymore, I think I stopped buying them then. Um, so it's hard to say, but it's been like 10 years. It's been probably 10 years since I bought one. I still look at them. I don't buy them anymore though because I don't know any of the rappers in there. I don't know any rappers on the cover. I don't know any of that stuff anymore. So I don't know. Darren Miles said Little Romeo did Just Jordan. Yeah, like there's a lot of things that he did that could have branched off for him. It's like dad can only open up so many doors for you. At some point, you have to, kick some of these doors in yourself. You know, I get it. He probably robbed you blind to a degree on your royalties and stuff like that, which he did to all of his artists. But there are opportunities that had to be there that you are willingly. He wasn't on Just Jordan. Look, I'm not about to get into this. I'm just going to say there should have been opportunities that opened the door for him, and he should have been able to participate in more stuff. Him not getting involved with more things is more of a Romeo problem than a Master P problem, because the door was open. I know he was a kid when No Limit was really popping. He couldn't take advantage then, but it's like Jaden Smith now would be like Will is a bad guy because he never helped me do anything. It's like, what you talking about? Will forced Jaden Smith into a lot of bum ass movies, but it's dad can only set you up so far. At some point, you have to start making moves on your own. I didn't know Romeo was as old as he is. I had no idea he was as old as he is. But yeah, it's up to him now. Like he's got to start making moves on his own. Alto Johnson, were you a fan of Benzino? Absolutely not. He fucking sucks. Mr. VXG, can you do a quick 2022 Wrestling Awards? Who is the best female, best male, tag team, and rookie of the year? What is your favorite storyline of the year? Well, all of these is pretty simple. Best male, Roman Reigns. Best female, Bianca Belair. Best tag team, a toss-up between the Acclaimed and the Usos. And rookie of the year, Braun Breaker. What is your favorite storyline of the year? The Honorary Uce, which has been an excellent storytelling, tons of drama and intrigue. And every week, like I said, the sword of Damascus that dangles over the head of Sami Zayn becomes way more obvious. And they're doing tremendous stuff with the cameras when it comes to the Honorary Uce storyline. Like when Sami Zayn was cutting his promo on SmackDown, Roman was in the shot half the time making facial expressions. And you could tell that he's putting the battery in Sami Zayn's back. But he's always, watching, giving that confirmation. But it's always a smirk. It's never a smile. And his smile isn't real anyway. And the Usos are kind of standing there and they're kind of grinning too. But you never really know. I think Jimmy's might be, Jay's might be real. I don't know about Jimmy's though. I think Bianca Belair should be considered the female of the year. She had a great run before the Triple H took over. It went downhill from there. So then maybe if you want to say Jade Cargill, but I don't give Jade Cargill any credit. They have not increased her competition. She hasn't done anything. Jade Cargill in 2022 is the same as 2021. She still has not evolved in the storyline. Still the same matches against the same weak ass opponents. It's all stupid. She would take Bianca Belair's spot because Bianca has been doused in cold water called damage control for like the last 4 fucking months. But in that time, Jade Cargill hasn't done fucking anything. You know, it's just she hasn't done fucking anything, and it's a shame. And Jamie Hayter, she's got a big booty, and that's it. I don't even understand what people even see in her outside of her big booty. All right, Jaden Young. In my opinion, you might disagree, but I think the Attitude Era fanboys were some of the OGs of the stuff we have to deal with wrestling fans today. Are they? I think the Attitude Era fans trying to hijack the show. That's a problem. Them interrupting promos. Yeah, they didn't interrupt promos as much as they do now, because now WWE has actually played into the promo interruptions from time to time, like the wedding and stuff like that. WWE played into that shit, and you know, I really wish that what shit never would have started. Oh God, I hate that so much. It's ruined so many promos. It's ruined so many moments with the what. Next time somebody they should just cut their fucking tongue out of their throat. Favorite feuds of the New Generation era. Oh, the Shawn and Diesel feud. Of course, Bret and Owen. Big fan of that stuff. The Diesel and Bret feud was great too. I liked the Diesel and Undertaker feud too. It was short, but I liked it. Razor Ramon and Goldust. That was fun. Goldust and Roddy Piper was fun. What else? I think that might have been it. Those are really fun stuff. Like the Bret and Shawn Michaels feud. It wasn't really much of a feud as much as it was. They only had one match. They had one. Well, they actually had more than one, because they had, at the beginning of the New Generation era, Bret was the champion. Shawn didn't get in the ring with him that often. They wrestled near the end of the Hogan era, which was 92. Survivor Series 92, Bret and Shawn had a match. It was what Shawn was covering up for Jerry Lawler. But I think they wrestled at Survivor Series 93 too, if I remember correctly. They wrestled at Survivor Series 92, and they wrestled at Survivor Series 93. And that, I think 93 is when Shawn was covering for Lawler. And 94 is when Shawn and Diesel did the tag team thing, the breakup of the two dudes with attitudes. Speaking of which, I love that storyline, the Shawn Diesel two dudes with attitude story. I think I did a original storytelling on that. It was great. It was excellent. The New Generation era does not get enough credit for their storytelling. It's very sad. It's very sad. Do you think they kept Cena with the thug gimmick? He could have been a thug version of Stone Cold Steve Austin. No. He's a white boy. There's no thug version of Stone. The thing is, that's not Cena. That's not who he is. He probably likes rap music, but it was clearly that Cena was playing a character. And he was kind of a goofy as a rapper. He was Eminem with muscles. It was goofy as hell. Yeah, Survivor Series 93 is the Hart family. That's when it was supposed to be Jerry Lawler. It was supposed to be Lawler and his Knights. It ended up being Shawn Michaels and his Knights. I bet Shawn wasn't happy about that. See, D-Mac, the question is motivated by your reply to the Sports Keto Wellness Policy post. How big of a problem is misinformation in wrestling reporting? Well, God damn it, it's a huge problem. It's a huge problem. That Sports Keto shit, which it came from Dave Meltzer, is becoming a huge concern. All you have to do in order to disprove that is to go and fucking look at the website. Like, that's all you got to do. Like, that's all I had to do was go to the website and look at it and say, you know what? If they changed their policy on wellness, they would have to make a statement about that. They can't just willy-nilly say, well, we're not firing guys anymore. That's not even a situation Triple H can do anything about. That's out of his hands. If a guy gets popped for drugs, it's over. They can do a good job of not making it public anymore. Like back in the day, they would tell people if he got popped for drugs. But nowadays they don't do that anymore. But they can't just decide they're not going to punish people for failing drug tests. That's stupid. And telling people that WWE is not going to fail people for drug tests anymore, that's ridiculous. When people don't do their due diligence, we get this kind of shit, And it's pretty simple. The fact of the matter is, I doubt anybody really believed it. But just in case you did, when you saw this whole Sportskeeda thing about WWE is no longer going to fire people for failing 3 drug tests, how about asking them why does it still say that they will on their website? Why hasn't that been updated? How did you know about it? It's not updated yet. Like when they stopped testing for weed, they updated their website. But now all of a sudden they're gonna let people just continue to do drugs on their own company time? No, it's ridiculous. Stupid fucking idiots. Top dog. What was your favorite things about the Ruthless Aggression era? The brand split. I like the brand split. I've always liked the idea of WWE having an NFL and an AFL, or an NFC or AFC, where, you work towards the Super Bowl, which is WrestleMania. 2 separate brands with one goal. I always liked that idea. I always liked that plan. It's just WWE just does not have the discipline to do it in a way that makes sense and to stick with it. They just don't have that ability, which makes it incredibly stupid because not everybody's popping up on every show. But I think the brand split also opened the doors for more stars, which is the important thing. You definitely want more people to become stars. Top dog. Second question. Also, what was your favorite things of the Cena era in wrestling? Oh man, there's so many fucking questions about John Cena all of a sudden. What the hell? I tell you this. John Cena energizing the children. I really enjoyed that because it shows you that wrestling is supposed to be, it's supposed to be somewhat all ages, and Cena made it okay for kids to come back. He's the superhero for the children. And while I don't necessarily agree with everybody and their love for John Cena, I can appreciate that John Cena, did a lot for the children, creating wrestling that is fun and entertaining for them. Even if it was kind of off-putting for some of the adults, it was a desire to just go in a different direction, I also enjoyed his feud with Umaga. I like that. Ninja, you got 3 questions. Favorite Royal Rumble return? Well, Mr. Perfect was. I every time I watch that Royal Rumble and Mr. Perfect's theme song hit, I get chills. That and Booker T at Royal Rumble 2011, I think it was. Oh God, I get chills. 2. What wrestling move would you want to see get used less? Power drivers. Any and all power drivers. We really kind of... Why all companies haven't gotten rid of power drivers yet, I don't know. But the German suplexes actually kind of bastardized too. And I think like 2 people broke their necks with German suplexes in AEW. So, but I certainly we can use fewer power drivers, I think. I mean, Canadian destroyers, flippity doo-dah power drivers, the Code Red, we could use that less. Yeah, we could definitely do it. Favorite wrestling theme song? I like the Evolution Line in the Sand theme song. I think that's excellent. I've always been in love with the Evolution theme song. Batista's theme, I Walk Alone. inside this pit of danger. That was art. Ah, they added words to his theme song. Like when they were taking those stale sort of instrumental tracks and start adding words to them, like the Benoit song, and then they start adding words to it. It was like, ow! I was a big fan of the Edge theme too. I think his Rob Zombie theme was actually okay too, and it worked for his babyface run. I wonder what happened to that. You know, never gonna stop me, never gonna stop. Do 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 do. Scream if you want it. Do 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 do. I want it more. I like that. That was great. That's what Edge was the babyface on SmackDown. Mr. VXG, are you a part of the Red Pill community? If so, who are some of your favorite content creators? I wouldn't consider myself part of the Red Pill community. I wouldn't consider myself part of that. But I liked Turfling and Monkey. I used to watch a lot of his videos when he was on YouTube before he started getting banned a lot. Now I don't know where to find him. Can't find him anywhere. I still watch the occasional Rollo Tomasi video, and that's usually it. I followed quite a few of the sort of MGTOW channels for a little while, but MGTOW was one of those things I was very, very interested in. It is something that I only saw as being sort of mocked and demeaned, and I wanted to understand it. So I went to a lot of the MGTOW channels, and I just kind of listened to them, and it's you get a greater understanding by listening to them of what they're talking about and what they're helping people to overcome. You know, how to get people to think about things. But I wouldn't put myself in the Red Pill community. Also, his name is Jack Donovan. Read Jack Donovan. He's gay, but he has really good Red Pill stuff for guys. Alto Johnson, what are your predictions and what are you looking forward to in 2023? Well, I'm looking forward to the Royal Rumble. My prediction is that Cody Rhodes will be world champion almost all of next year, for the most part. My prediction is that Triple H will still fail to make a top female star. He's going to try, but it's not going to work. I think he's going to have to rely on the same girls that Vince liked. I think that we're definitely going to get Charlotte versus Bianca at WrestleMania. I think that's got to happen at this point, right? I think we're going to get some more returns, and none of them will make a lick of fucking difference. I was thinking about that. What was it yesterday? That I can see Matt Cardona coming back with his wife, of course. Then I was like, okay, where does he fit in the whole grand scheme of things? Like, he's not gonna want to do Zack Ryder anymore. So, what do we do? You know, that's what I want to know. Like, what is he gonna do if he's not gonna do Zack Ryder? What the fuck is he gonna do? So, I don't know. Did you hear about the Goldberg being a free agent now that Triple H has taken over? I don't believe that. Will we see him at AEW? No. The fan base will act a fool. Ali Hankerson, what's your take on Justice League as a group in general? Which lineup do you prefer? I like the OG Justice League. The Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, the Trinity, plus Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter. I don't know if I like Cyborg with the Justice League. Justice League, I think, when used in an appropriate way against threats that nobody should be able to handle by themselves, it's great. The problem is creating those threats, and it's not just Darkseid, you know. Here's the same question for the Avengers. Now, the Avengers is a little bit different because there's no Superman, you know. So, but I love the Avengers when it's Cap, Iron Man, Hawkeye, uh, maybe the Wasp on the team, Thor, which is the Marvel Trinity is Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America. And when you utilize, they have more threats. You got Ultron, got Thanos. You got, you know, you could have invasions from Annihilus or something like that. You could do a lot with the Avengers. They've ruined the Avengers though in the comic books. It's the shits. It's not good. It's not good. Eric Mack says he doesn't have a question, but wished me a Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too, brother. Dop. Merry Christmas to Dop. Who should win the Women's Rumble now that Mandy Rose is gone? Do you think Rhea Ripley should win? I think Rhea Ripley should have won even if Mandy Rose was there. So Ripley winning was always my number one thing. The only thing that can make this not work is if Charlotte wins. That sucks. Because Charlotte doesn't need to win. So I hope that Rhea Ripley wins. 2, after watching the women's War Games last month, I feel like there should be one War Games match or Elimination Chamber match built up on the show. What do you think? I definitely think having 2 of those matches ruined everything. I think having 2 of the same match on a show doesn't really help. You know? I think if you really believe in something, pop a rating. Put one of them on TV. Like, imagine if they did the NXT Deadline, the Iron Survivor Challenge. They'd put the women's on TV, and then the men's on pay-per-view or something. That way, you could have gave people a taste of what the match is going to be on TV. And people, if they were interested, could have watched it. And then they could have saw a different. I know people would have been pissy about it, but it's been a good way to hike up a rating. 3, if wrestlers botch or dive like Top Dollar did, do you think guys on the floor should still sell the move even though he missed? No, I think he make you look like a fucking fool for selling a move that didn't make contact. You look like an idiot. I really wish guys would stop doing that. Stop selling things that don't make contact. But even worse when they don't sell things that do make contact. Like in the Royal Rumble, you might get kicked in the rib cage or something like that, and you don't even sell it. Let's go to the screen here. Let's see. What are some pros of the younger generations? I don't understand, like, pros of the younger generations, like the people, because they always push, different musical stylings. I guess that's always a positive. Young people are always trying to create. They're always being creative. And they always sometimes they like to build off of what other people did. They just don't like to give credit for it. That's the worst thing about it. They don't like to give credit for it. But quite often, hip hop was built off sampling. Like, it was amazing that nobody had thought about that before. You know? Nobody thought about making loops and breaks and shit like that. Nobody ever thought of that before. So they were doing something completely new, completely different. Now you've got kids making their own beats in their house. You know? It's always evolving. It's an ever-evolving game on music. Garage bands and stuff like that. I love it. That's a good thing about them. I hate how easily programmed kids are, though. Best tag team of the Hogan era. Well, it would be easy for me to say Demolition, because I think that's the right answer. But I think also the right answer would be the Hart Foundation. Either the Hart Foundation, the British Bulldogs, or Demolition, depending on what year you want to talk. The Coug 97, Merry Christmas. I hope you have a blessed day too, brother. Or sister, however that works. Alto Johnson says, what would be the legacy of the Clique? Since we just lost Scott Hall this year, I wonder how the Clique should be remembered. I think the Clique ran both Nitro and Raw at the same time. You know, it was such a group that was so powerful that once they got in creative, positions in both WWE and WCW, they were able to push wrestling towards a more mature audience and to make wrestling more fun. You know, they also changed the game when it comes to contracts and more money for the boys. Um, they weren't the first guys getting guaranteed contracts, but they were, you know, talking more openly about money that they was being paid and stuff like that. And the Clique cared about the business, and they cared about each other, but they didn't care about everybody else. So that selfish nature of it, you know, it's funny until you realize that these four guys were well, five were top guys in WWF, and they only really worked feuds against each other. Everybody else was kind of a one-off. You would think Shawn would have worked an entire program with Jeff Jarrett. Nope. He just beat Jarrett for the Intercontinental title and moved on. You know, no feud for Dean Douglas, just lose the Intercontinental title and move on. You know, meanwhile, you know, Shawn's having a 2-year feud with Diesel. And shit, you know, like, it's crazy. But I think their legacy, it should be in the NWO and DX. Darren Miles says, do you still have your video game collection? I don't have nearly the games that I had when I moved out. When I moved out of the old house, let's put it like that. I had a PlayStation, had tons of games. Over the years, because the PlayStation I guess it got broken when I moved, so I started giving some of the games away. I still have my Xbox. It doesn't really work. I still have my Xbox games. I still have my Xbox 360. I don't know if it works. I haven't hooked it up in a long time. I still have those games. I don't know what to do with them. Like, they're not worth anything, you know. So I don't know. Like, do you take them to GameStop and get like 50 cents in store credit for an Xbox 360 game from fucking 2008 or something like that? I don't know. Top Dog, the biggest problem with the Attitude Era fans is they refuse to let a new generation of fans enjoy the product. Yeah, they don't help. The ECW fans were like that too. Again, 1995, they were yelling at Vince about trying to push Mabel or something like that, which, you know, in hindsight was right. Fuck Mabel. But at the same time, we were trying to make somebody new here. We're trying to do something different. And that's not what they were interested in, you know? So, what are we going to do? You know? So, it's shameful. All right. What's going on here? All right. Let's... Alto John says, have you ever been in a battle rap before? Have you ever heard about the Hip Hop Shop? I heard about the Hip Hop Shop a little bit. Have I ever been in a battle rap? We used to rap in when I was in Job Corps. We used to battle each other. There was people who took it seriously, and then there was those of us who just kind of fucked around amongst each other. So I was in a battle rap then, but it wasn't like a serious rap competition. It was just kind of playing the dozens. Talk about a dude's shoes, his ashy elbows, something like that. But it wasn't like a serious, let's sit down and write rhymes. You know, it wasn't no serious thing. You know. Top Dog says, do you think this whole old generation versus new generation is nonsense? I think the older people always talk trash about the younger people until it's a horseshoe. You know? Like, as we become more like our parents, the younger kids are very annoying. And then, of course, they mature. They get a little bit older. Then they become more like us. That doesn't necessarily mean politically. It just means that more often than not, mature adults should have somewhat similar standards. But as we see that it doesn't really stick the same way. You know, like when we live in a world now where People cannot unequivocally say bringing dildos to high schools is probably not a smart thing to do. Like we're not. We 20 years ago, we would have been 100% on board. Whether you were 16, 26, 36, or 46, they just said, hey, bringing anal beads to a high school probably shouldn't happen. But now in today's world, we're not so sure that that's a bad thing or not. I don't know. It's sad. Wrestling Sucks TV. Whose run has been better? Karrion Kross return to SmackDown or Keith Lee on AEW? You a big motherfucker. Well, Keith Lee hasn't done too much of anything in AEW. He was tag team champion, but it's only part of his storyline with Swerve so they can break up and feud. I guess by default, because he was a champion, Keith Lee's run has been better. Karrion Kross, he didn't do too bad with Drew McIntyre, but he didn't go over decisively, and he's not really been doing too much of anything against Rey Mysterio right now. The Cool 97. When you hit 50 and hear the younger generation music many years from now, that's when you remember this chat. Yeah. Like, I can only imagine how my mom felt when I started listening to DMX and stuff like that in the house. She's probably like, what the fuck? You know, like, what is this crap? You know, like, this is not music. This dude is barking. Why is this guy barking? You know, it feels like everybody sings in auto-tune now. It's hard for me to even suss out who the artist is because almost all of them sound the same. Fuck, a lot of them look the same. I don't know. You know, they're all just kids. I just let kids do them, I guess. Wrestling Sucks TV. Who's 5 wrestlers you think of when it comes to the spinner belt besides John Cena? Well, I really can't think of anybody with the spinner belt. I know that CM Punk had it, Edge had it for a little while, Del Rio had it, Miz had it. But I wouldn't associate them with it. Alto Johnson, do you remember Santa Claus? No. It seems like something Vince McMahon would do, but no, I don't remember it at all. All right, WG Phil, what is your favorite Christmas present or favorite Christmas moment? I think I've already answered this question. It's when I got a PlayStation for Christmas. That was a blast, dog. That was fun as shit. Let's see. Listeners Anonymous. Trips has Pete, Theory, Cody, and Finn discussing Rumble plans on who will win. Road Dogg takes Tony Schiavone's place, and to end the segment, it'll be Cody who goes over. Okay. So Triple H is in another meeting. This time, I'm guessing Pete Dunne is there, Austin Theory is there, Finn Balor is there, and Cody Rhodes is there. And they're going to be discussing the Royal Rumble. Road Dogg, for some reason, is going to be here. So I have to do a Road Dogg voice. I'll try to figure out what kind of voice I can do for Road Dogg. We'll see. So I guess let's try to put this one together. Let's start it out how these things should always start. Come on in. You should come right on in. Trips. First of all, congratulations on your upward mobility to WWE. I'm a big fan, of course, as you already know. Next to my hero, Dusty Rhodes, you are my favorite wrestler. I didn't know Finn Balor was here. Hey, how are you? How are you doing, Pete? I don't think we've ever met. You guys are here to talk about the Royal Rumble. I assume we're here to discuss my winning of the Royal Rumble. I presume that was the plan, if I remember correctly, when I was brought in. About that. We just want to discuss the nature of your Royal Rumble. We want to discuss who you're going to be in the ring with. early and maybe a little bit later. Finn. Uh, uh, how about Judgment Day? Is dominating the Royal Rumble, and then Cody comes to the ring. I have no problem with that. I'm like, oh, okay, no problem. So maybe Cody eliminates all of Judgment Day, throws all of you out on your asses. I think that'll really get him over strong. What do you think about that, Finn? Um, why are you looking like this? Why is your face so red? Okay, maybe not Judgment Day. Maybe the Brawling Brutes. Pete, you, Sheamus, the muscly guy. I'm thinking about, Cody mixing it up with you guys a little bit. You go in there and do your finger bending thing. And you kind of bend his shoulder a little bit. Oh, sure, I can do that. If I don't know if Sheamus will be able to go for it. Sheamus is a good friend of mine. He's a pal, I think. I think he'll go for it if you really sit him down and talk to him about it. I think he'll really go for being thrown out on his ass. I'm sure Sheamus is used to it. This kind of thing happens to him all the time. Yeah, he's used to falling on his ass. I mean, he's got a pretty ample ass there. But Cody, as we said, we're thinking about putting you over. We're really considering it, but we're not sure you're going to be wrestling Roman Reigns. Trips. I think that this is a tremendous opportunity that you're asking me. That you're trusting in my abilities to carry the company forward. But what is this of me not wrestling Roman Reigns? I think we might be able to get The Rock. I've been talking to Dwayne. He and I are old friends, of course. We work together a lot, and I'm sure you guys know that. He's a tremendous talent, and he's cousins with Roman Reigns, and maybe there's going to be a chance that those two are going to have a match against each other. What do you think about that? I think that's phenomenal. It's great for the house, good for the business, of course. But what is the purpose of me winning the Royal Rumble if The Rock is going to be wrestling Roman Reigns at WrestleMania? I really don't that far ahead. We'll figure it out. We probably have Seth Rollins re-injure you, and you'll miss WrestleMania, of course. Wait. All right, what's this about El Santo? What the hell's going on in El Santo? Let's move on. Let's see, best novels to read as a beginning novelist to study from. Read Michael Moorcock. Anything with Eric in it or The Eternal Champion. As a matter of fact, I have... let's see. It's called The Eternal Champion. But it depends on what kind of novel you want to write, though. If you want to write like slice of life kind of stuff, Richard Wright's Black Boy is pretty good. If you want to write like gritty crime stuff, then Donald Goines is very good. If you want to write like sword and sorcery, then yeah, Eternal Champion by Michael Moorcock. It's very good. It's very, very good. Let's see. I think we're wrapping it up here. I think we're done. The final question of the actual online questions: top 5 matches of 2022. Oh God. It'd probably be Gunther versus Sheamus. Clash at the Castle. That match was tremendous. Gunther versus Ricochet on SmackDown was pretty good too. Let's see. uh, shit. I think the CM Punk MJF dog collar match was this year. Let me make sure that was this year. Because if it was, then I definitely need to put that on the list. Because I remember that match being pretty good. I haven't seen it. I only watched it once. Yeah, it was in March. So yeah, that match was very good. FTR and the Briscoes were pretty good too. But I like their first match better. So I'm going to go with the well, I think they had 3 matches this year. Their first match was better for me. So I'm going to go with Gunther versus Sheamus, Clash at the Castle. Gunther versus Ricochet. The second match from SmackDown. MJF, CM Punk, dog collar match. FTR versus the Briscoes. And their first match, I think it was the best match that they had, was the first one. And I think I'll go with maybe Becky and Bianca from WrestleMania. Oh yeah, Seth versus Cody, Hell in a Cell. Yeah, I like the Seth versus Cody matches in general though. Like all 3 of them were top notch matches. Fuck's sake, yeah. But that Cody and Seth match was tremendous. You know, the Hell in a Cell match, because of the emotion from the purpling of the shoulder and that area is nuts. He put a Herculean effort. So Seth versus Cody is another one. I'll probably put on that list. It might have to be an AEW list and a WWE list, but I think top 5 period. I have to put that Seth versus Cody on there. But I still want to put the MJF CM Punk match on there too. Maybe I take off Ricochet and Gunther and put Seth versus Cody. And I want to pick a match from NXT, but I can't think of one off the top of my head that I would put on the list. So that makes it easy for me to not pick something from NXT. That Becky versus Bianca was really good. The match from WrestleMania. That's one of the few women's matches I watched twice. You said Danielson versus Hangman. The hour-long match, I'm guessing you're saying here. I don't know. It's like I don't think I was a gushing over Danielson versus Hangman. Even though I don't think they were bad matches, I never truly believed in Hangman. Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy, you can forget that. Gunther versus Ray, yeah, that match was pretty good. Gunther versus Ray was pretty good. That was good. The Usos versus the Street Profits is also very good for Money in the Bank. That was also very good. I saw a lot of people who were doing this. They were saying like the men's War Games match. No War Games match. Phoenix and Vikingo from Triple Mania was very good. The Vikingo versus Laredo Kid match that recently happened too was also very fucking good. Laredo Kid versus Vikingo, that match was also very good. That also was pretty good. I forget what event that was on, but it was tremendous. Where Laredo Kid beat Vikingo. It was very good. I haven't watched a lot of New Japan, so I can't say any New Japan matches that I thought were really good. I didn't even watch the G1. I watched Kairi versus Mayu Iwatani. I didn't think that was awesome. It was okay. I suffer from the Joshi curse. Anytime I try to watch Joshi Puroresu, I end up almost falling asleep. Braun versus Tommaso Ciampa versus Dolph Ziggler. Well, I like that match, but I don't know if it was best of the year. I wouldn't say it was one of the best matches of the year. It was a good match though. It's like I think Braun had good matches with Dolph Ziggler, but I don't think they were the best matches of the year. Top Dog said Stone Cold versus Kevin Owens because a lot of fans got to watch Stone Cold for the first time. Yeah, yeah, but it's Kevin Owens, so I'm gonna be a hater and say fuck Kevin Owens. I'm not giving him credit for nothing. I'm just gonna be a hater with that one. I'm not even gonna hold you up. I'm not a big fan of Kevin Owens. Bam Bam Owens. Bubba Ray Owens. King Kong Owens. One Man Owens. One Man Gang Owens, I should say. The Owens Giant. Kevin Owens, the Ugandan Giant. Sammy's versus Johnny Knoxville. People say that unironically. That it's one of their favorite matches of the year. And it was so wacky that I could see why you would say that. You know, it was so well put together. I see why you would say that. It's crazy that AEW tries to have epic match every week, and I forget all them shits. Like they have epic match on television. It'd be like a 5-star match, and I don't even remember it the next week. Bandito versus Jericho on Dynamite. Big fan of Bandito. Bandito versus Jericho. It was good. Was it one of the best matches of the year? No. No, I wouldn't say so. I think Second Gear Crew versus the Briscoes from GCW was also pretty good too. Does Vince McMahon versus the Whole Money count as a match? Well, it should. Vince McMahon versus the Hoes. I'm sorry, the paralegals. The illegal paralegals, as Jim Cornette calls it. Yikes. Bandito is tremendous. Why he's not getting an opportunity is beyond me. Seems pretty silly to me. AEW went through all the trouble of signing him for what? Just to put him on the bench immediately. You know, seems kind of goofy to me. But I don't know. What do I know about signing talent and using them? I don't know nothing about it. I'm no Booker of the year. All right, y'all. My nose is running. I pushed through. I got this thing done on Christmas Day. I did it in an hour and 30 minutes. It was quicker than I actually expected to. Have a Merry Christmas for the rest of the day, you guys. I am going to probably go straight to bed after this. Like I said, I got shit to build in the morning. Thank you everybody for stopping by. Hopefully you guys have a nice holiday. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.